Good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing good and having a great morning so far. Today, I want to talk about love, self love. And it's something that I think a lot of people lack. I think most people probably lack it, to be honest with you. And, it's not going to always be so apparent. Here goes. So, there's a bit of a deep subject, but I'm going to go through my thoughts in a brief manner, if you like, and we can indulge a bit deeper at a later stage. But my thoughts. A lot of people seek for love without rather than within. They look for people to come into their life and complete them, whether it be partners, friends, or whatever it may be. Generally, it would be partners. The problem here is that you need to be complete yourself, and anybody else walking into your life needs to be a compliment, so to speak. And if you're not happy with yourself and you're pretty miserable, you're down, or you've got underlying issues that you're not dealing with, then these are going to be pretty detrimental in a relationship and a friendship or whatever it may be. Now, I just pretty much think that this is part of a social upbringing whereby, if you look at babies or kids, they're full of self-love and full of confidence and, you know, anything's attainable and achievable. We didn't have no issues in trying and falling and walking and talking. But as we get a little bit older and the social conditionings and all these kinds of elements start dropping in, we start creating a lot of self-doubt. And the self-doubt that we start creating starts having a massive implication on our life and the way that we carry ourselves. And strangely, somehow, it seems to appear that there's a lot of guilt attached to having self-worth or self-love. You're not allowed to toot your own horn, because if you toot your own horn, then you've got a bit of an ego or you think too much of yourself, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think if you're a grounded enough individual, then ego isn't an issue. And everybody has the right to be able to feel great about themselves. And generally, it's almost like you shy away from being great, because you'll feel great for all of 2 seconds, then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I'm getting a bit too big-headed, I'm thinking too much of myself, and it needs to stop. And then it just goes back into this negative rhythm. And, people watching this, you guys might be fine, completely fine, and thinking, all right, what's Book's talking about? But I know for a fact that there's loads of people out there who will be able to relate to exactly what I'm talking about, and just go, okay, you know what? I get it. Maybe I do need to create a bit of self-love. So please, people, if you're watching, just take a moment out and just realize what your worth is. Because this self-doubt is pretty toxic and it just ruins people's days, lives. And it's, once it builds up momentum, it's trying to regain it back is a pretty tough job. But I think today should be the day that you start loving yourself. You start loving yourself without guilt. And there's always going to be people out there belittling you, and maybe they've got issues and they don't realize that they're, offloading on you. So every time you do something, you don't even have to do anything, they might be just sitting there and making you feel bad because you might not have something, or you might be behaving in a particular way that they think is a bit much. But not everybody sees it in that light. You got to love yourself, you got to appreciate yourself, and if you can get these things right, then you're flying, because you're creating a whole wealth of happiness. And this happiness is going to ooze out, and it's going to ooze out to the people around you. And that inner confidence is something which is completely priceless. We see a lot of people trying to create self-worth and self-love through, vanity. That's very short-lived. That kind of stuff's only going to take us so far. And obviously it's so important that we take care of our appearance. It's good to feel nice and look good and all that kind of stuff. But let's dig a little bit deeper. Let's go and find our self-worth, our self-love, and feel complete ourselves. And then whoever comes into our lives, or whoever is part of our lives, then becomes a compliment. And there's better synergy when it comes to this, and it creates a happier life. They're my thoughts. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'd love to hear them. Obviously, this is raw and uncut, and it's such a deeper stronger subject. There's definitely so many different avenues that I could go into regarding this. But they're the thoughts. Actually, I've had this thought going through my mind for a couple of days now, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Obviously, I haven't covered everything that I would have wanted to cover, but it's all good because it's food for thought, and hopefully it'll spark something in someone and just make them stop and think, okay, you know what? Right, I'm not creating the love within myself. I don't love myself enough. What have I got to do? And if it stops somebody in their tracks and makes them think slightly differently, whether they can start loving themselves a little bit without guilt, I think it's just letting go of the guilt, to be honest with you, and knowing that you're worth it, then hey, it's a good thing, right? Anyway, peace out. Hope you all have a lovely day. I'm going to have a lovely day. Got some gardening to do. Dig away. Bye, folks.